Hello investors and traders, welcome back to the Trend Trader channel. So on Sunday we had a live stream whereby we were talking different companies. We covered GSE companies, and then we also touched a bit some of the US companies. We spoke about John Deere among other companies, but there were plenty of companies that we shared in that live stream. The live stream is available on YouTube. You can go there. If you go to our YouTube channel, you should be able to see the videos that we shared with you. So it's a two-part live stream. There's part one, and then there's a second part there because we had a bit of challenges with our internet connection, which resulted in us recording two sessions. So if you want to watch those videos, you can find it in our YouTube channel. You will see that it's one of our recent videos. So for today, I just want to expand a bit on some of the companies that we covered on Sunday, especially the US companies, so that we can just go a bit deeper into some of the financials of those particular companies. But before we go there, I just want us to look at some charts. As we know that in the past few days, it's been a mission trading the JSE market, right? As some of you already know that the JSE was going up and down, partly due to the fact that Tencent was moving in some funny ways there in China. So let's see if I can hide this thing. Okay, yeah. So Tencent was moving in some funny ways there in China because of some regulations, and we saw that for a while Tencent has been on a downtrend, and then it attempted to trade higher. What we mean that Tencent has been moving down for a while, and then it broke below that 400 support level. And as news were coming from Asia, it also went down to test this 320 Hong Kong dollars level there before it attempted to rally up there. So as it was falling, it was dragging Tencent, it was dragging Naspers and Prosus with it, and then when it just stopped there for a brief moment and then pushed further up, breaking above that 320 level, attempting to go back to 400, that gave a nice boost to Naspers and Prosus, as we saw that I think it was on Wednesday when Naspers and Prosus were both up by at least 16%. So that was a nice recovery there. In the JSE, the people that had positions, that had long positions on Naspers and Prosus, were able to exit some of those positions. So today, this morning, okay, today is Tuesday. Yesterday, Tencent was down a bit from that 400 level, meaning that it found resistance from that previous support level, so it went a bit lower. And then today is just trading at an island. It's not necessarily low or high, so we'll see the yesterday's level and today's level, what impact they are going to have on Naspers and Tencent. But let's just look at the Naspers and Prosus chart to see what we can expect from them. This is not a prediction. We are just looking at the chart, trying to find useful information so that we can plan accordingly with our trades, right? So we see a similar picture here from Naspers. Let me try to zoom out a bit. So now we are looking at the Naspers chart. Like I said, when that Tencent broke down, it took Naspers down with it. And then last week, Tuesday, or so it was a Tuesday, whereby Naspers gapped up there, coming back above 1,600 Rand per share. And then it just traded sideways for the last 3 days. And then it traded somewhere around 1,800 Rand per share. So now what we would like to see this week, it's either Naspers is going to push back and go to about 2,000 Rand per share level. Otherwise, the other scenario is that it can push back to about 1,600 Rand per share. At this moment, we are not interested. We don't have this share in our portfolio. We just want to see it first, decide which level it's going to go to before we make a move. But if it comes and trade around 2,000 Rand per share, then maybe we might be interested to take a small long position anywhere somewhere around 2,100 Rand per share. expecting it to push a bit further, maybe to reach 2,600 rand per share. Then we'll have our stop loss somewhere around 1,900 rand per share. That is just the plan for now. We don't have a position. We're just gonna wait and see where the market is going to go before we pull the trigger. We expect to see the same thing on the Prosus chart, because the charts of these two companies are very much similar. As you can see, also Prosus was down and then it found support there, and then it's attempting to push back up. But with Prosus, ideally we want to see it above 1,000 rand per share as well. Then maybe we can enter somewhere around 1,100 per share with the stop somewhere around 950 or 900, targeting that 1,200 rand price there. Remember always that the risk that you are taking should be less, and the potential reward should be at least 2 times to 3 times the potential or the risk that you are taking in any particular position. So that's what I wanted to share with you regarding Tencent, Prosus and Naspers, right? So another thing that is going to happen today, it's Tuesday, some results are coming for those people that don't know yet. So you see that you have result coming from Merafe. We mentioned that in the past, we said that people should be careful when they trade Merafe today, because we don't want to just jump to Merafe only to find out that now you are sitting at a loss, because the news can come before the stock market opens. Remember, the stock market opens at 9 a.m. The news can come at any time, especially from around 7 a.m. So it's better to first wait and see what kind of news that you can expect from Merafe, not staying off from Merafe. Then based on that, what you might expect to see from Merafe. We mentioned that Merafe is trading near an area of value, so first we'd want to see where it is heading. If we just zoom, okay, there's no need to zoom out at this moment. As you can see, there's this nice consolidation. So if we see a breakout above 1.90 per share, then we'll be tempted to take a position in there with the stop somewhere around 160 or just slightly below 1.60 per share. But now we're not just gonna jump the gun and try to take a position there, because if you look at a bigger time frame, then you can see that Merafe is currently near an area of value. In this case, the area of value, it is a potential resistance level. As you can see, it's this previously traded somewhere around 2 rand per share, not 200. So we're not gonna be quick to place a trade around 1.90. Ideally, you want to see it trade above this 2 rand level there. Then we can have a stop loss maybe somewhere around 1.80 per share, because what we don't want to take a long position there only for Merafe to start trading back, coming to lower level. I know that 30 cent, it's a bit steep, it's a bit low. I mean, given the fact that Merafe is sitting on a pile of cash. So in terms of fundamentals, Merafe is looking good. So that is just the worst case scenario, but you will never know what can happen with the market, especially if Merafe does not declare a dividend. In the previous reporting, they did declare a dividend. I think it was about 7 cent or 10 cent dividend that they declared. So we expect Merafe to continue paying dividends, especially given the fact that they are sitting in the pile of cash. But that is something that you have to keep in mind, that we won't be rushing to buy Merafe until it's trading above 2 rand per share. And the nice thing, if you are using Easy Equities, is that you can now set a buy stop order, so that if the share price starts to trade above a certain level, then you can be able to enter that particular trade. So as we saw on the share data website, remember previously I said that I use this website to find some company news, of which I can use to find bits and pieces of information. There are plenty of websites that you can use. You can use share data, you can also use MoneyWeb. Some people, they use Yahoo Finance and many other websites which offer free information that investors can use to get information about the stock market. Okay, so I just noticed that there is also potential news coming from Steinhoff and Tungela. We have a position on Steinhoff at this moment. I don't have a position on Tungela. We previously had a position. If you watch that live video, you will know why we exited Tungela. It was because the coal futures, they were really pushing up in a lamp post move. Given the experience that we have in the market, we know that such move are not sustainable, so we quickly locked in our gains there. Then we went on to buy Teresa, another coal company, but also we saw that there's a potential setup on on Exaro. So even though we no longer have a position in Tungela, we still have a position in other coal mining companies. And that is the beauty of the market, that you can always find opportunities from different companies. You shouldn't just look for opportunities in a single company, especially if the chart doesn't look so good. Okay, so going to the US companies, the companies that I wanted to talk about today is Deere and Company, but well, the company that we know, or the name that we are more familiar with, is John Deere. So it's a company that produces agricultural equipment. It's been on a nice uptrend, and then it consolidated before breaking above a key level. So you can find more information about John Deere if you go to the Deere.com website, and then you can go to the investor relations page, and then you can see some bits and pieces of information. But I've already went to Yahoo Finance to look for a bit of information, so you can get the summary of the information, but I'm interested in the financials before we can go and look at the chart. So if you look at the financials, I've mentioned previously that I like companies that have growing revenue. If you look at revenue from 2018 coming back all the way to 2021, you can see that initially it was 37 million, and then now it's sitting at 44. I think this is in millions, so it's most likely that the revenue actually it's 44 billion, not necessarily 44 million, right? So now what you see is that it's growing up nicely. That is positive to me. You look at the gross profit, started at 10 billion, growing all the way to about 13 billion, and then the projection is that the gross profit is going to drop a bit to 12 billion, but this is just an estimate. It doesn't really mean anything. We should always wait for the result. The results are coming on the 30th of March. Then we will know what is happening with the company in terms of the financials. And then another thing that interests me in a stock is the basic earnings per share, because this tells us the profitability of the company, what is happening with that the profitability of the company. So if you look at the basic earnings per share, they started from $7 going all the way to $19 per share. That was in 2021. So that's a nice increase in earnings per share. It means that the business is profitable, and the profitability of the business is also growing in line with the share price. So we are happy if we look at such companies. Well, I'm not one person that totally understand these earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. But if you look at the EBITDA, you can see that it's growing from 5.9 all the way to 9.4. The people that understand finance, they like this metric. It means something to them. Well, not to say that it doesn't mean anything to me, but it does mean something. So one thing that caught my attention as I was looking at one of the recent presentation that was made in that fiscal year of 2022 is that if you look at the quarterly dividends, so these results are coming from the first quarter of 2022, and then they look back from the first quarter of 2004. You can see that the dividend has been growing nicely and steadily. It started at about 11 cents per share, and then it is currently, the dividend is somewhere around $1.05. One thing that you need to understand about the US companies is that the dividend yield, it's a bit lower. It's rare to find a company that has a dividend yield that is greater than 4%, but also you need to keep in mind that the interest rate in the US are below 2%. Yeah, the interest rate is below 2%, even though though the inflation is high, well, there's a lot of commentary around inflation, whether it is transitory or saying that it's only people that are earning below 300,000 US dollars that are affected by inflation, or that people should consider eating lentils in order to deal with inflation. But based on this, I'm happy with the investment that we made on John Deere. We took a position on our eToro account yesterday. But just to take you to the chart of John Deere, because the position that we took, it was just based on technical analysis, not anything else. So if you look at the chart of John Deere, you can see that the stock has been consolidating nicely between 325 and 400 US dollars. And then last week it broke above this level with a decent amount of volume there. So we didn't want to be deterred by the volume that it broke above. So we took a position yesterday during the US market open. So we got in at somewhere around 410 US dollars. What you're expecting? We expect that the share price is going to continue to push further up. We've mentioned that in the past, it's not a fact, it is an opinion, is that if a company has traded in a certain range, then you can expect the company to go up by the similar range. So our long-term or short-term target is 480 US dollars per share there in John Deere. We're not saying that it's going to happen. We will be happy if that can happen, and we have our stop loss somewhere around 375 in case the stock market decides to pull back and trade lower. In our trading, we always have a contingency plan, because we don't know what the market has in store for us, and we don't like severe surprises, especially surprises that can cause us to lose a lot of money. Okay. And then lastly, let's look at another company that we added. We're not gonna be comprehensive with that company. Yesterday we bought a bit of Chubb Limited. Chubb Limited, it's a security company there in the US. As you can see, this company, it's on a nice steady uptrend, and that's the rationale for buying it. It's moving up nicely, and then you can see that it pulled back here, coming back to the 50-day moving average before breaking above that level last week. Then so that's the rationale for buying these companies, that it broke above that level there. Well, I'm still trying to get used to this drawing. It's not the same as the one that I'm familiar with on Zoom, but this is the level that we're looking at. As you can see, this was the previous support level, and this was the previous resistance level. So now Chubb is trading above this resistance level, and it broke above with a nice decent amount of volume there. And then our stop is just below 200 US dollars. We entered somewhere around 210 US dollars. So we are holding this position. The company pays a dividend, so we'll see how far the stock is going to go there. So these are the companies or the recent additions that we took into our eToro portfolio. Remember that our eToro portfolio is set to public, so anyone can see our portfolio. If you just go to the description of this video, you will see that there's a link that can take you to our eToro portfolio. Then you can see what we are buying, what we are selling, the growth of that particular portfolio. What you won't see is how much is invested, but you can see in terms of percentages how much capital is allocated on each position. So if you like to track our eToro portfolio, you can just easily follow that. So that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button. If you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, please consider subscribing. We'll be sharing more and more of these companies. As we said, we are actively trading the JSE stocks and the US stocks. Well, we don't really trade crypto that much. We do cover it from time to time, but what we trade mostly is just shares, US shares and South African shares. We haven't started trading US companies yet, but as soon as we start trading not US, the Australian companies, as soon as we start trading those Australian companies, then we will also be doing analysis on those companies as well. So thank you for coming by. We appreciate your presence. We will see you in the next video.